Hey, what's up? So, my alarm clock used to go off at 5 a.m. every single morning. Not for me, actually, for my wife. My wife used to wake up at 5 to get ready to start working on videos and slides before she went to her regular job as a teacher. And I couldn't stand watching her do that anymore. And I also saw how long it would take her to do this process. So one afternoon, I decided, let me see if I could fix this for her. And now what used to take her about 3 hours takes her about 5 or 6 minutes. I built it in an afternoon. It's a single workflow and it completely replaced all that slide work. Now she goes from a simple idea to a full animated presentation with smooth reveals, clean animation in literally minutes. Now, this same workflow also works for client presentations, online courses, sales pages, landing pages. And in this video, I'm breaking down exactly how I built it. And like always, I'm dropping all the prompts, the files in the description in the Notion document. Everyone says that AI saves time. This actually does. So if you're interested, then let's go. All right, so real quick, I'm going to show you what this looks like. Now, all I do is I just literally hit either the arrow buttons or the space bar and see how it reveals step by step. It's clean, it's smooth, looks like a real professional slide deck. This is where it started. Just a simple, little, messy storyboard. And the craziest part is the whole thing took me about 5 to 6 minutes and just a couple prompts. So if you're thinking there's no way that this is simple, then stick around because I'm going to walk you through exactly how I built it right now. Okay, so first and foremost, this video is not going to require a tremendous amount of training. In fact, some of this you're going to have to do by yourself, but I'm going to explain the process. I'm also going to provide you with the Notion document as well as any information in there and that you need to be able to do this yourself, some templates and things like that. But the process is actually very, very simple. We're going to be using ChatGPT for this 100%. And the reason for that is a couple things. One, I personally was not using ChatGPT nearly as much as I was. The new model came out, I started using it, and I said, wow, this is pretty significant. The image model came out, Image 2.0, and it was just, I was a huge fan of Nano Banana for quite a while. And now I find myself using the ChatGPT pretty much 100% of the time right now. And what I really like about these new frontier models like ChatGPT 5.5 and Claude with Sonnet 4.6, Opus 4.7, things like that. These new frontier models, the prompting has changed a lot. Even in the past couple of months, even from some of my first videos when I talked about like the CAMP method for prompting and so forth, it still works, but it's not needed as much, especially if you do something like dictation, which is actually kind of the reason why I used that example slideshow that you saw in the beginning of this video. Because I actually built that presentation to actually talk about Whisperflow to a potential client. And the reason that I like it, that Whisperflow is kind of one of my primary tools that I use that I would not want to live without, is because I use it really for everything. But dictation is obviously one of the biggest things. And to be honest with you, I'm finding a lot of success with dictating my thoughts kind of randomly into the actual prompt field and letting the AI do its thing, because it's so much better at reasoning and being able to put these things together and understand what it is that you're trying to do, where you don't need to have as many things. And that's kind of also explained in that presentation. But again, the big thing here is that I created all of that within just a couple of minutes. And this is the process. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. You are going to come up with your idea, or maybe you found an article or a blog post that you like that you kind of want to share or utilize some of that information, or maybe you've curated some information together and you want to turn that into some kind of a presentation. But you don't want to spend all day doing it or all week doing it or have to go out and hire somebody. And you just want to be able to get it done within just a few minutes. So what you're going to do is this video that's playing behind me is probably on a loop because I did speed it up, but on it, I basically go through and I ask for a 1,200 word blog post that talks about dictation and also gives some of the stats, some information about it, why it's beneficial, and then also to talk about the benefits of Whisperflow. And it wrote the article or wrote the blog post, whatever you want to call it. I scanned through it real quick, made sure that I liked it. this was just obviously in this little demo because I wanted to repeat the process to show you that, hey, this is how I was able to do the same exact thing, and this is how it came out. Obviously, you can just mix and match with whatever content that you want to put in there, and that's why it's hard to give you an exact prompt to use, but I will provide you with templates that you can kind of just use and fill out, or have AI fill out for you. But once you have that document, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to ask ChatGPT to thoroughly analyze the actual content, the article, or maybe the blog post, whatever it might be. And you want it to develop an outline for what will become a presentation for this content. And you want it to be enough information to summarize the segments of the article or the blog post or whatever it ends up being that you're using. So what you're looking for is just a basic outline. You can tell it how many slides you want it to be. So the longer the actual content is, or the piece that you're using, whatever it might be, most likely in most situations, there's going to be more slides. The thing that you can do, which we'll get into in the next kind of part of the process, is how we share that information a little bit differently. But right now, what you're doing is you're just getting the outline. The outline is going to give you the slides. It's going to tell you that, the headline is going to tell you the subheadline, maybe some bullet points, whatever that might be. Now, the reason that I do this is because then I take that information, and depending on how many slides it is, if it's 8, if it's 10, if it's 12, 16, whatever it ends up being, I then ask ChatGPT to create a 16:9 landscape image for me of a storyboard of these slides. And that's where you can give it some information as far as maybe the color scheme that you want to use. I personally do not add photos or pictures into my slides or my presentations because it is actually just an HTML presentation. That's exactly what it is. It slides left to right, just like a regular presentation, but it actually is all built with HTML. And with HTML, it can use certain symbols and icons and emojis and things like that and make it look good, make it have this nice feel to it without there needing to be photos and things like that. When you start mixing with photos, it can become a little bit tricky. Of course, you can link to things that are on free sites like Pexels or Unsplash and things like that, but it can get a little bit tricky. But I just wanted to kind of bring that up, that I usually don't add images like that unless it's very much needed. So once you get that storyboard, or once you submit that prompt and you tell it the color scheme and you tell it this and tell it that, it's going to give you the actual storyboard. And those are going to be like a representation of what the slides could look like. And that's why I like to do it. Some people might be saying, why wouldn't you just have it just try to build a presentation just from the actual outline? And you can do that. The thing is that when you do that, you're at that point hoping that it's going to come out with something that is good after it built the whole thing. With the image, with the storyboard, and the fact that it's laid out into those different panels on the on that actual image, gives you a much better idea of what that's going to look like, or what the slides are going to represent, how they're going to actually look. And if you don't like the way that those storyboard images look, that's when you can say, okay, you know what? A panel 4, I don't like this. Can you change panel 4 to this, keep everything else the same, whatever it might be. You can make your edits there, and then you use that and bring that in. I bring it into another chat completely, and I basically use a prompt that I'll attach in the Notion document that says, take this storyboard, the concept from this storyboard, the color structure, the idea, the concepts behind it, and create something very similar to this. And create it as an HTML file that is going to be used as a presentation. I like to have it scroll left to right, just like a typical presentation. You might decide that you want to be able to scroll all the way down it like a regular web page if you're doing something like that. If you're doing something like a landing page or a presentation, sales presentation or something like that, maybe you want to just scroll and have everything kind of come in that way. That's entirely up to you. Me personally, I like the kind of the presentations that move left to right. And that's what I tell it. I say, I want this to be like a presentation that you can move left to right. I also want there, and this is what I was saying before about the information on the slides, I also want to reveal information by clicking the space bar or by clicking the arrow buttons. One or the other will obviously work. And when you click those, when you click the space bar, you click the right arrow, it's going to bring in the text that's not on the screen right now, just like a typical regular presentation. You can do that with HTML. It's really, really cool. And you just kind of go through the process. You can go through, look at the whole thing, make sure everything looks good. If not, you simply go back into ChatGPT and you say, hey, slide number 6, there's an image there that I want to change. I don't really know why you put an image of a mushroom, but there actually should be a picture of like an icon of like a smiley face, whatever it might. I don't know. It could be anything. But you can easily make those changes. Again, another reason why I use the storyboard. It's optional. You don't have to, but that's why, because I can look at those things and say, okay, this one here is not looking that good. I'm going to have it fixed now, as opposed to having to fix the whole outline, or I'm sorry, the whole presentation file again and do that. I just find it more efficient. It's a workflow thing. You can do it however you want to do it. But once that's done, the last thing that I ask for in that prompt is that I want it to be delivered to me as an HTML file that I can simply download, open it, and it opens right in my browser, and it works perfectly. The icon images, the vector images, whatever those simple images are that HTML can easily read and input or output, I guess I should say, on the page. That's what we want. You get one file back, HTML, you double click on it, and boom, you go through, you press the space bar, you press the arrow buttons, and you go through the whole presentation, look at it, and everything is good to go. The beautiful part is that when my wife was making her slides, she was doing all of this manually. So she was utilizing several different tools. And so some things that she would create an image in, and then she would have to bring that over, and then she would have to pop that up in whatever software she was using to do her video. She'd be going into Canva sometimes to do things, obviously going into ChatGPT, Google Flow, Gemini, making images and things like that. She was doing this, and it would take her several hours to put all this stuff together. The thing is, now she's getting so much more work done because she's able to get these things done in a matter of minutes as opposed to hours. But that is the process. That is how it works. I know that this was a little bit of a different type of description and how I kind of share this information. But again, it doesn't require a full-blown training. It just kind of requires a full explanation. The Notion document will be a little bit more structured. There'll be some templates in there that you can kind of use and fill out and do on your own, or have AI do for you, however you want to do it. But I would use that document or the information in that Notion document to kind of go through the process. Again, I'll kind of reiterate everything that I've said here. But the important thing to understand is that this can and will save you a tremendous amount of time. If you go through the process, if you already have content or a piece that you want to use, or maybe it's something old that you wanted to kind of redistribute and kind of repackage up as being a little bit new or something, or maybe there's an addendum that you needed to make to it, or an addition, or whatever it might be, you can now go ahead and do that and do it in a matter of minutes by going through this process. And again, very simple. The process is you get your content piece, whatever that might be. It might be blog post articles. It could be, a YouTube video that you saw, or one of your own YouTube videos, anything. You have that content. You have ChatGPT analyze it thoroughly, get all the key points, and turn it into a outline for a presentation. You can tell it how many slides you want it, or you can let ChatGPT decide that on its own. Once the outline is done, then you say, okay, perfect. Can you now take these outlines and convert them into a 16:9 storyboard with however many slides it gave you? The slides will not be exactly the same as this storyboard, but again, you're using that storyboard just as kind of as guidance, more or less, for ChatGPT to basically go through and create the presentation HTML file for you. And the very last thing is, once you have that, is that you want to tell it to create an HTML file that is a presentation. And you want it to be scrollable left to right with either the space bar or the arrow buttons, or you just want it to scroll like a regular web page. You also want to tell it to reveal certain things. Revealing, again, means that it might have the headline and a subheadline on the actual slide, but nothing really else. And then as you go through and you hit the space bar or you hit the arrow buttons, other text will pop up or other elements will pop up on that and then move to the next slide and so forth. And as you're going through the process, just like any presentation, you know what to say, when to say it, how to say it, when it's going to move on and all that kind of stuff. So again, makes the process very easy, very quick, very fast, and very professional looking. Fact of the matter is, 5-10 minutes, this whole process is pretty much done. The longest part of it is honestly waiting for ChatGPT to just build the HTML, which literally takes a couple of minutes, and then it's done. So with that being said, again, the Notion document will be linked in the description. I will also link Whisperflow. And here's the thing, I am not sponsored by Whisperflow. It's just a tool that I love to use, and especially with how prompting is kind of going, being able to just dictate right off the top of my head what I want, I'm finding I'm getting a lot better results with that. And what I also like about it is the fact that I can use it anywhere. So it's on all of my devices. I use it for texting. I use it for prompting. I use it for pretty much everything because I can. It goes across all my different Mac devices, across all the different devices. It syncs. I can use it for voice notes off the top of my head when I'm thinking about something or an idea. So it's really, really beneficial. It's really, really helpful. Again, I'll link that below. And again, just real so you don't misunderstand what I'm talking. Dictating prompts is going to be the easiest and best way to prompt large language models moving forward, in my opinion. And I'm not the only one that agrees with that. And again, this isn't a promotion for Whisperflow, but I did want to mention that because it's a tool that I love to use, and it's what I built these kind of presentations on for the demos, but also it was based off of something that I'm giving to a potential client. So other than that, I want to say thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. I do try to read every comment and get back to them as quickly as I can. But if you have any questions, let me know. Let me know also in the comments what you think of this method, if this is going to help you, if this is going to save you some time. And other than that, I hope this was helpful. This is Craig, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.